Hey everybody, happy Friday at 5. Diana Noble here. You all know who I am though, because let's face it, if you didn't know who I was, well, you wouldn't be on my page. So I'm Diana Noble. I'm here today with the lovely Lindsay Evans. Lindsay and I have known each other for, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years now, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and she's a super awesome chick who has so much to
Making
talk
me
about.
blush.
She has so much to talk about in this topic that we're going to be chatting about today, which is building relationships builds businesses. So before we kind of get into that, Lindsay, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, you know, what your profession is, where you live, what you do, so on and so forth?
Yeah. So, as Diana said, I'm Lindsay Evans. I work for Servus Credit Union right now for the last 7 years. Prior to that, I was with Scotiabank for just over 6. So I've been in banking now about 13, going on 14 years. I've been everything from a teller to a financial advisor, personal banking officer, investment specialist, and mortgage specialist for the last couple of years now. So I've lived in Fort McMurray since 2007. And I call that home. That's our primary home, but we also do have a home in Cold Lake now, where my hubby's found a little bit of work since the pandemic. So we're kind of all around.
Yeah, so being in the industry that you're in, with helping people with their mortgages and whatnot, you have to create like a lot of relationships with people. You know, like I know me being a realtor and having a real estate brokerage, like we've had some connections there. I know you have connections with other realtors, but not just realtors, like people from all around the community and whatnot. Can you just talk a little bit about, you know, the importance of establishing good relationships in your field?
Absolutely. So I think in any field, honestly, it's important to establish those relationships. And yes, you want to have them with people in your industry, absolutely. But you have to think outside the box too and beyond that, right? So you want to be known for somebody who's just a good person in general or is well known in the community. Doesn't have to necessarily be business that you're selling every time. It's, you know, when you're in a coffee shop, like just give somebody the time of day, ask them how their day is, and get to know them, kind of thing, right? So that's what I really tried to focus on, especially in Fort McMurray. We know how community involved we are,
Mm-hmm.
and just like our city thrives off of that, right? So just even going into small businesses and introducing yourself and, you know, handing them out things or offering maybe incentives to their staff and whatnot has really helped me out. And just getting to have a relationship as well with my clients and just meeting people along the way, whether you're at Earl's for a drink with your friends or wherever you are, you know, always kind of slip in what you do and in a casual way, right? That doesn't have to come across too salesy, right?
Yeah, nothing is worse than that, like total sales pitch. I swear to God, all the time. I don't know about you, but on LinkedIn, I get these random messages, these random invites like, hey, I see that you're a business coach. I work with getting business coaches leads. And it's like, come on now, you know, like if
All
you
the
haven't
time.
just said, hey, Diana, really interested in what you're doing and, you know, tell me a little bit more about yourself. That is such a better approach than being like, hey, by the way, I can help you with this.
And I think that's so important you said that because it's that personal approach, right? You're actually showing somebody that you care about them and what they do and why it matters, opposed to just like, here's what I do, here I am, what can I sell you today? Like that's nobody wants the car salesman approach,
Yeah,
the
so
elevator speech.
yeah, no, absolutely. And how do you find the balance with that? Like, you know, between having that soft approach and slipping in kind of what you do without being too salesy. Like, have you found a method that kind of works for you?
I think honestly, like it sounds cheesy, but just again, selling yourself and just being yourself. Like I've done the sales pitchy thing and it's not me. I sound like a robot. I can't do it. And like people sometimes will say I'm too nice or maybe I sound cheesy and stuff, like even who I am, just me, but like I'm not selling something. I'm more so educating people or telling people like what I think could benefit them. And I'll be honest with them. And I know don't tell my boss even though we're on live, but but I'm honest with people. If I'm looking at their statements and I see that they're getting a better deal somewhere else, I will tell them that because the honesty approach, guess what? That comes through later on in life, right? That's how you get the referrals from friends, from family, etc. Right? You're not if you're going to lie to somebody or you're going to just do the sales approach, you're never going to get anywhere. I'm sorry, but you're not.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's funny because I come from a long line of sales background. So I don't know if you knew this about me, but when I was 19 years old, I actually worked at a telemarketing firm in North Bay when I was going to college.
No way.
And and I was selling people things that they did not need, like credit protection on their city MasterCard or something like that, right?
Yep.
I was really good at it, but it was very much like reading a teleprompter, the script exactly. And, if they had this rebuttal, then you press this button to get this answer and, all that kind of stuff. So, and I was really good at it. I'm pretty good at sales, but throughout my career, at least since then, which has been about 15 years now, I definitely agree with what you're saying, and just more of that authentic approach and just being like human, and, educating people is so important, because there's so many people walking around that have no clue about, this industry and that industry and so on and so forth. Right. So I just find that incredibly important. And for you, Lindsay, I know today you were a little bit nervous about coming on here. Yes, I'm just throwing you under the bus a little bit there, but this is you being you. And that's awesome, right? Like, this is what helps sells blah, 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 blah. See here, I have no shame.
We're live.
We're live. Yeah, it is what it is. And I know what I was about to say. So there we go. No, but just being authentic and just being who you are, that's really what's going to help you sell your business and your services, right?
And I think too, like being empathetic, or like giving your own maybe personal story or background as to like why you're doing something. I know, much like you said too, when you're selling stuff like creditor protection, or even in my position, mortgage protection, like I used to be like, really, like, do they need this? I don't want to be that, again, insurance salesperson. But it is important to have that conversation, because I have had many clients, sadly, that have had to take advantage of those insurance products, and we've paid out on them and we've helped them. I've also had a boyfriend that passed away in a car accident. I know that we all think we're invincible. We all think things will not happen to us, but they do, and they can. And I think sharing those personal experiences and kind of relating to whoever's in front of you, really, your client, your friend, real estate agent, lawyer, whoever it might be, when you can relate and you can get on that level with somebody, I think you're kind of earning their trust, and you're able to, like, again, show that you're a person. You're not just out for that sale. You genuinely care about them and their well-being, and at least you have the conversation. So if anything were to ever happen, you know that you had that conversation and you protected or looked out for their best interest in whatever aspect that might have been, right?
Absolutely. And that's really important, especially in service-based businesses, right? Because retail, let's face it, like, it's a little bit of a different kind of a business, right? You're selling a product, people get what they pay for, and that's it, right? There's a million other people they could purchase that product from. But when it comes to service, there really is that added emphasis on those relationships, right? So having relationships with your customers, having relationships with people in your industry, having relationships with your suppliers. I'll tell you a funny story. Actually, it's really not so funny. I can kind of laugh about it today because it's over now for the most part. But this week, I upgraded one of my business emails. I tried to upgrade it to G Suite. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna step up my game. It's been 10 years of owning this business and having this, chaotic or archaic email address, and sometimes some of my clients, it bounces back from them. Like, I'll get their emails, but then I'll send them an email and they won't get it. So I thought, you know what, let me try and do this. I'm going to upgrade to G Suite. And it actually took my email down for 3 days. So today, this morning, I finally just got my email back since Tuesday, and just going back to that relationship component. So I have some relationships with clients at different process serving companies, different law firms that I've had for almost a decade now. And so when you build those relationships with people and they know who you are and they know the kind of level of service that you provide, when something like that happens, people are a little bit more understanding, and they're like, oh, okay, well, it's not usual for Diana to not email us back for 3 days, or to have her email bounce back to us or whatever. And so people are a little bit more understanding. Have you ever been in a situation like that, where because of your relationships, when kind of things went askew, you were able to rebound quickly in those, or?
Yeah, 100%. I think you made a good point there. And I think it comes back to, again, gaining people's trust. So what you said too about how anybody can sell a product, anybody can do. We're pretty great, Diana, but but people can do what we can do, right? They can. There's lots of mortgage specialists, there's lots of realtors, and, out there, right? But when you gain somebody's trust and you do show a level of service, I work most of my vacations. There's very few vacations that I actually shut off. There's very few sick days that I actually shut off. Although I actually, from my work, am taking a sick day or I'm taking a vacation day out of my time or whatever, I don't usually shut my phone off. And a big reason for that is, again, customer service. I don't want to, although my auto on my email will say I'm away, I don't want them to text me and think that I'm ignoring them. So I don't like that. I have started to set boundaries where I'll maybe check it, 1, 2, 3 times a day, which I learned from you. Thank you. But at the same time, I've gained, I think, some respect from clients like that, because they do understand that I am always working and I am always available to them. And even if it's not the second they call me, they know that they're going to hear back from me in a couple hours, or at least that same day. So I think people really do appreciate, especially when you tell them you're on vacation, you're sick, something like what you experienced happens. They're like, oh my gosh, girl, like, go take your vacation, like, get back to me when you can. And again, it's just you and I feeling like we have to, right, get back to that person, or, oh my gosh, my email, but people do understand when you just, again, are the type of person that you are, right?
Absolutely. No, for sure. How have you found, like, obviously with COVID, I know you and I used to go to a ton of networking events. We used to see each other at a ton of different things. I used to host my own events and I used to see you there. I know, I miss those too. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about sneak peek about something I have coming up in the new year to address that gap. Okay. But anyways, so with, COVID and whatnot, and now it's a little bit harder to create those relationships, maybe okay to maintain them. I'm not exactly sure. But I know there's some strain there too, especially, some of the business owners that I often deal with, some of them are saying, oh, I'd be happy to meet in person, but I'm like zoomed out. How have you been able to, or have you been able to kind of combat that in terms of like building relationships, despite the fact that we've been in this global pandemic this last, I don't know, how long has it been now? Like 8 months?
It feels like forever. I saw something on Instagram the other day and it was like, happy birthday, COVID. I'm like, has it been that long? But yeah, it's getting there. I think doing stuff just like you and I are doing. So I try to really schedule that with my main referral partners. I try to introduce new referral partners or people that I haven't even dealt with. I try to do like a spotlight on social media for them. And not just partners. I like to do it with like small business owners, because like you said, a lot of people are suffering right now. So I'm really trying to right now market shopping local for Christmas. I like to use a lot of the places that, again, I have experience with, that I know a lot of, like even home business stuff, like Soap Much Love, like they make bath bombs right out of her home and she's amazing. She sells them at cafes and Heritage and stuff. So she's in stores, but a lot of people don't necessarily know about them, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm just trying to kind of, I guess, like show spotlight as much as I can, the little person that I am, but putting it on, videos on Facebook, on Instagram, and stuff like that, tagging them, hashtagging everything so that people can find them, and just, I don't know, trying to, I guess, make more of a relationship that way as well. Just with, again, small business owners and referral partners. I know social media is not like the only way you should connect with people, but it definitely is a good way to connect with people, especially with what we're going through right now. And a way to show that you still care and you still want to support them, because supporting a small business can be as small as literally following them or sharing their stuff and tagging them and just kind of spreading the word, right? Buying a gift certificate that maybe you don't go shop there right now because you're not comfortable going out during COVID, or maybe their storefront is closed or whatever, but a lot of places are offering that online, and we need to be too, right?
No, absolutely. And that's a really good point. I love what you're doing on social media with your local biz spotlight. I don't know if that's what you call it. That's what I used to call it.
I think that's what I'll call it.
It just like came out to me. But anyways, no, I love what you're doing. And, you're absolutely right. Like, it's so important to do whatever you can, even though we're in these times that are foreign to all of us. We've never dealt with something on this level. I mean, just look back a year ago in your Facebook memories or whatnot, and it's like a totally different world, right? But that doesn't mean that you should stop finding creative and unique ways to establish new relationships, maintain those relationships, and give some exposure to some of your business partners and whatnot. Because I don't know about you, Lindsay, but I'm a firm believer in karma, and what goes around comes around. And when you're kind of putting that out into the world, there's good things that are going to come back to you as a result. Not saying that that's why you do it. Obviously, you're doing it because you want to give, right? But it does end up coming back to you in terms of your business exposure, like exposure for who you are in your profession, or who I am in my profession, or whatnot, right? So I really love what you're doing. You're doing a phenomenal job. And I'm so grateful that you came here today to chat about this topic. I really do miss meeting with people in person and having those monthly in-person coffee meetings or whatnot. And it's unfortunate that we're in this, whatever you want to call it, this nightmare of a world, or like this, movie or whatever it is. But yeah, I think right now relationships are more important than ever, because in a time where your ability to market yourself or network or whatnot is significantly diminished from the way that we used to do things. You have to put yourself out there like that, and you have to make sure that you're giving back to those people.
And I think you need to focus on the people too who, like, even previous clients, right? And making sure you're having touch base points with them too throughout all this. So it's not just like, okay, I did a mortgage for them a year ago, they're out of sight, out of mind. Touch base with them, send them a card in the mail, send them a funny meme, check in on them. How's the new house? Like, just a little piece of, I miss people, you can tell. I'm like bored and lonely too when it comes to that. But honestly, it's been huge for me to be able to reach out to my own people too, and you build a relationship with those people, and you help them with one of the biggest chapters of their life. Like, it's important to keep in touch and to make sure that they're happy with everything and whatnot too. I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, and to that point, I actually just got my custom Christmas cards. That I'm so terrible at that. Like, I ordered a bunch of cards a couple years ago, and they just sat there, and I never used them. And I'm like, well, that was a lot of money out the door. And I just send them out, But this year too, it's just, I guess, just having the inability to have those relationships in the same way that used to. It's like putting in that extra effort to make sure that you're making people know that you're thinking about them, and that they're on your mind, and whatnot, right? So
and it's a weird kind of like guilty feeling almost, because sometimes when I do a deal now, I feel like, did I do enough? Like, are they okay? Is everything gonna be okay? And it's like, I'm doing the same job that I would have done in front of them, but it feels weird to me. Sometimes it feels like it's rushed, or it's not, the home buying experience that they should have. And it has changed, right? Like, for being honest, but at the same time, I'm doing the same things. I'm just doing it virtually now. So.
And same with me too, because I used to coach, one-on-one, like in person or whatnot. Not that I'm not doing that now. I mean, obviously keeping in mind COVID restrictions and whatnot. But,
yeah.
I had rented out this nice office this year to have this conference room that I could have in-person workshops. Like, instead of renting out the coffee room at the coffee house, I'd have it at my own office.
I miss them.
Yeah, I know. And I got these nice mugs to give out to everybody every single month. Baileys and cappuccino. That's what I got on the go here Friday today. One of my favorite holiday drinks, we'll call it that. But yeah, we have to pivot a little bit and just do things the way that we can for now. And if we can add in those little touch points, like you said, it makes all the difference in maintaining those relationships. So I'm just going to quickly let you all know, and you as well, Lindsay, because I know that you are on my email list. And if anybody's watching who's not on my email list, feel free to drop your email in the comments, or private message me if you don't want everybody else to see it. And I will gladly put you on my mailing list. It comes out every Monday. But I have been hinting a little bit at something exciting that I'm working on. And so I haven't quite launched it yet. I'm going to be launching it in T-minus 11 days. The plan is on December 1st. But speaking of relationships, so I'm putting together this 4-month group coaching masterclass that is geared to entrepreneurs. And the power that comes in group coaching versus one-on-one coaching is that you have all of these people in this virtual room, because let's face it, it's going to be virtual. You have all these people in this virtual room who are kind of all in the same sort of place that you are in your business and in your life. And they're cheering each other on, everybody's seeing each other's progressions throughout the 4 months, and how they're succeeding towards their goals and whatnot. And I'm really excited about it. I'm going to be launching it, like I said, on December 1st. I'm just finalizing all of the details now, but it's going to be open to 9 people only. And basically, you're going to get one-on-one session every month, and then 3 group coaching sessions every month. You'll get, the Energy Leadership Index assessment to dive deeper into the entrepreneur that you are. And I just really want to create that community of support and build those relationships with other business owners and entrepreneurs, because I really think it's super important that we have that support network and that we build those relationships and cheer each other on, right? Because the world is hard enough. Like, you don't need people like, putting you down. Like, it's time to build something that we can build each other up in. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to give you the details, of course, when I do launch it. So I'd love to see you there. No pressure or anything like that. But I just wanted to let you all know about that today, that is coming. And I'm super stoked that you were here today, Lindsay. Can you just tell everybody like what your social media handles are and whatnot, so that you guys can all follow Lindsay? She's an amazing mortgage specialist. She's an amazing person. And I highly recommend that if you are in the market for a new mortgage, looking to get a better rate, because let's face it, the rates are at an all-time low. I'm pretty sure they're still there. Then she is the girl to call. So Lindsay, go ahead and give them that info.
So my Instagram is Lindsay Evans Mortgages, and my Facebook is Lindsay Evans Mortgages FYMM.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks again, Lindsay. I miss you, and I'm so grateful that you were here today. I think that was some great insight, and I look forward to some future collaborations. You never know what's in store.
Awesome. Can't wait. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Take care. Bye.